Good evening. So I wanted to talk to you about mindset when it comes to applying to and getting yourself onto remote sales roles. And to be honest with you, you could apply this to getting yourself onto any sort of job or role that you like, or indeed to the sales process itself. But the reason why I think it's important to talk about mindset is because it lies upstream of any sort of technical based thing that you could be doing, any sort of technical based activity that you could be doing. Mindset is upstream of that, and it gives us the reasoning, the background for why we make those technical or strategic decisions when it comes to applying to roles. And I'll relate this back to a particular client of mine that I've been working with to help get her out of her 9 to 5 sales career and into remote sales roles. So the mentality, the mindset that I encourage people to follow can be summarized as this. I don't need to get onto any particular role, but I do need to hear a yes or a no from every single role that I apply to. Now, the truth of the matter is you're not going to hear a yes or a no from every single role that you apply to, but going into the entire process with this mentality sets you up for success. And there's two particular places, I think, where this has the most amount of impact. So just to tell you about the specific case that I'm going to be referencing in this video, we had got to a stage where this client of mine was hitting their daily KPIs. They were starting to get some responses, and they'd got themselves onto a few different interviews. One in particular seemed like the best possible fit for them because of the industry experience that they had and because of the industry that this particular offer was in. Now, what happened as this client of mine started preparing for that interview was she completely dropped off hitting those daily KPIs of outreach and applying to new roles. Now, the first reason why this is not advisable, and this is, in my experience, coming from a mindset issue, not coming from necessarily a technical issue. You could solve that in the technical realm. Okay, hit the KPIs that you've been set, but it's easier to solve that upstream as a mentality thing, a mentality shift, right? A mindset shift. The first problem is, as soon as you stop applying to other roles and put all of your energy into this one role that you think is a great fit into, fair enough, you've got to spend some time preparing for the interviews for that. But mindset wise, you've now completely taken your eye off the system as a whole. And this means that you are pigeonholing yourself into that one role which you're not even on yet. And this is dangerous because, first of all, you're going to lose momentum. I speak about this a lot. It is my belief that you always need to be applying to new roles, whatever stage of the process you're at. If you're on a role, making loads of money, really happy in that position, or if you've just started applying to roles, you always need to be applying to a lot of roles. You need to be hitting sufficient volume daily in order to set yourself up in the best possible place to get yourself onto a good, high quality role. Once you take on the mentality of, this is the one I want, I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket, I'm going to focus on getting myself into this role in particular, you've taken your eye off the ball in terms of volume, and you're no longer hitting those daily KPIs. This obviously puts you in a completely compromised position if anything at all goes wrong in this role. Now, I often say this to people as well. You're not going to know the ins and the outs of that role, whether it is a good fit in terms of whether or not it's a good fit for you, until you actually get onto it and start taking sales calls. And even then, it's going to take a week or two to iron out any difficulties. The point being, you don't yet have sufficient information to warrant putting all of your eggs into this one basket. And that is why it's important to go into this entire process with the mindset of abundance, right? We're not ever going to pigeonhole ourselves into just one role, especially when we're not even on that role yet. So that's the first reason. The second reason is when it comes to that application process, a big part of what we need to maintain when we're going into interviews, when we're going to even initial early stage interactions with businesses that we want to work for, businesses who we want to come into them and start selling as part of their team, start closing for them, start selling for them, whatever it is. You need to maintain an air of somewhat indifference as to whether or not you're actually going to get onto that role or not. Now, I don't mean complete indifference. I just mean not being outcome dependent. And what I really mean by that is not being desperate in your approach to communication with these roles. Keeping the mindset of, I don't need this particular role, I just need you to tell me yes or no, for me, perfectly encapsulates the way that you should be following up with these roles. I tell this story a lot. I've been on interviews for remote high-ticket sales roles before, where the business owner literally told me, you don't have the kind of experience that I was hoping for, but I really like the way you followed up. And where that comes from is, yes, I have a structure that I follow in terms of follow-ups. I have a schedule that I follow. I have a to-do list that I follow in terms of follow-ups. But what it all stems from is this mentality of, I don't need this particular role. I don't need any particular one role. I just need to know a yes or a no. And what does that mean? This is like the default operating mode that we keep going back to when something's off script or when we don't know exactly what to do in any given circumstance. Default to, I just need to hear a yes or a no from this person in order to move on. And that will set you up for success, because that's going to mean you're not going to be afraid to keep following up until you get that outcome. If you've got a phone number, you're going to dial it. If you've got them responding to you on email, you're going to keep hammering that email address, keep following up until you get an answer. What that means is you're maximizing each individual application that you're sending. Ironically, right, we've come full circle to actually seeing those through to success in one way or another, because you are now adopting this mentality of unattached enough to not come across as needy, because being needy is completely repulsive in all of sales and in even getting into sales roles. You never want to come across as needy. You never want to come across as the person that needs this role more than the business owner needs you. This mentality also breeds the exact way that I would recommend people write Loom videos, or people deliver Loom videos, or people write any sort of outreach message. It's, what can I do for you? It's not, what can you do for me as the business owner, right? Not, please give me a chance to work for your company. This is what I've done in the past. This is what I can do for you. Let's make it happen. That is the energy that you want to be portraying. And again, it comes from this mindset of, I don't need this particular role. Want it, sure, but I need you to tell me yes or no whether we're going to do this or not. So to summarize, we don't ever want to be putting all of our eggs in one basket, especially when you're early stage, right? When you're on a roll and you're actually making money from that, I still don't recommend putting all your eggs in that one basket. But particularly in the application process, you never ever want to get married to one particular application that you've made. Never. So keep that mentality of abundance, casting the net wide, hitting those daily outreach targets, set yourself up a system, or if you'd like me to help you do so, that's what I do for my clients. But know that it comes from this mindset of, I don't need any particular role, I just need a role, and I'm going to need to get a yes or a no from every single application that I set. And that's the only thing that I need in this interaction. It's also going to make all of those individual interactions better, because you're coming from a place of power and a place of abundance versus coming from a place of neediness. And this conveys to that business owner that you can help them. Conveys to them, yes, clearly this person has value to bring to me. They don't need something from me. And that's going to set you up for success. Hope you found that useful. It's a big topic. We can go into much more detail on this, could literally talk about this for hours, but fundamentally, that is the mindset that I recommend you take when you're trying to get yourself onto remote high-ticket sales roles, or for that matter, any type of role. Hope that helped. Plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one.